Okay, I'm going to go over the basic functions of the Mark II. We were supposed to put out a video a while ago and just never got done. I apologize, but I'll use one of mine, which is the latest one that I have with the generator fix installed. So just go over stuff with you guys. I'm going to turn down the audio so you guys can hear me better without all the bullshit. Oh yeah. Okay. The Mark II is set up pretty similar to the AA and the standard Ghid. Most of the stuff is going to be normal for everybody who's used the other ships. I mean, you've got your cruise, which is and turtle. We'll start over here though. So these are your flight profiles. So depending on what mode you're in, will depend on what profile is selected. So I'm going to jump into mining mode real quick. It will auto switch over to mining mode. When the lasers turn on, it's a different profile. So you can go through and set them all individually by going through the pages and say you want to, and for the approach one, it is not, the max speed is overridden by the approach script itself. So whatever you set in the approach one, that's just the player's input. Um, but if you want to change stuff, you can see the little arrow next to forward, and you go down, up, and increase the values. If you increase, say, avoidance forward while you're in avoidance and going, you have to hit the accelerator real quick to actually pump up to the max or turn avoidance on and off. And then, as always, you can reset the page or reset all settings, and it'll put them back to the stock ones. Transponder, standard ping, will turn the transponder on for a few seconds and turn it off, or our normal transponder button. Don't remember if we reuse this yet or not. These are, so it's a collision detection system. So if, say, you're flying with AA on out through the belt, hit a rock, the ship is going to shut down. It's going to realize that there is a durability issue, and it's going to turn off cruise, it's going to turn off avoidance or autopilot, and it's going to stop. So if you are AFK traveling, if you hit a rock, you'll come back and your ship is stopped. Then you can override it by either turning the setting off. Well, those lights will be on when it happens. You can turn it off, or to override it completely all the time, you can turn on combat mode. Okay, then we'll move down. We got the heatsink, whatever, transfer rate, gen warm up. So this setting determines what your generators will warm up to when you have mining mode on. So as you're flying around scanning rocks, um, this will be what your gens will warm up to. And then when you hit an asteroid, or when you start mining an asteroid, they'll automatically adjust for the lasers themselves. Reticle, so currently I think there's 4. Got the circle, the bottom half of the circle, crosshairs with orange, which is the cargo lock beams, and crosshairs with green. In a future update, we're going to be doing the red ones also, so there will be a 5th option here. Normal cruise. Mining mode obviously turns on all the mining features and extends the arm for mining. Turtle, just changes flight profile, and then you can adjust how you want your turtle to act. Then just basic stuff to look at, including this one here, which is your estimated fuel times while flying or mining. It'll give you an update on how long you have left before you need to change your rods or your prop. Mine might, oh, there it goes. Okay, it's not broken. Yeah. Speed up here, I believe, is based on the speedometer, and then there's an odometer, so this shows the distance traveled since the last repair or reset of the odometer, which is this one. So it'll clear it back to 0. So if you're out one of the other belts and you want to go down through the belt a certain amount, you can clear that and you'll travel. Just pay attention to your number. Thrust, blah, blah, blah. Low prop and low fuel. These two lights will, once you get to a certain amount of prop or fuel rods, these two lights will start blinking. You can press the light to turn it off. It's a warning light, that's all it is. But once you get to a certain point, with I think it's like 5%, they will continuously blink and you cannot turn them off until you refuel. It is literally to try to save you from running out of fuel. Dun, dun, dun. This side of the cockpit. Fail mode hasn't changed. Just can cycle through the modes for your resource ports. Um, Combat sets generators to, I believe, 25 at all times. Give a little boost if you ever put guns on the outside and turrets for friends. Let's go over here. We'll start here. This system, this is the same as the collision detection system over there. Hide ISAN is a streamer mode, which will blank out all of the coordinates for your ship if you're within ISAN range. So we do know that this can be messed up if you spam the button too much, or it can fault, but just push it a couple times, it'll reset back to normal. Reset nav will reset the entire navigation system of the ship. So in case an error happens or you break something and you lose a receiver and it does something funky, you can reset the entire nav system. Autopilot, I believe that one is for, I think this will show the distance. Cannot remember what that one's for, I'm sorry. We'll find out. So the rest of them are navigation systems, turn so we can see. Basic ISAN reading. This is the distance to all your distance from your waypoints. Waypoint selecting, so if you cycle through your waypoints, and this is a waypoint preview, you can select it and it'll load it, or you can save your current location. There we go, save current location. So it'll load the current location and show, it should show zeros up here. Come on, okay. Yeah, error because it doesn't know where the hell we're at. Then over here, this little screen, if you pull up your Utool, you can change the name and the coordinates for this saved location or this waypoint. So it's waypoint 4 with no name, waypoint 4, no name. You can just select it, and we are at origin 2. And then I can hit the button over here and it will save. So it should come up right there as origin 2, and it will reload this. There we go. Or if I wanted to change the destination, so if I wanted to go 500,000 out on the X, 0 on the Y, 0 on the Z, and save, it should update here and here, show our distance. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, after you get your waypoint selected, as always, just hit the autopilot button and it'll rotate to the direction we need to go, and should turn avoidance on and start going. And the speed in autopilot, I believe, is, yes, the avoidance speed. So whatever you have your avoidance profile set up to is what autopilot will use. And then, as always, the avoidance, basic, hit the avoidance button. It'll ramp up to your selected speed. You can slow down manually by using your keyboard. So if you want to just tap the brakes a little bit. One trick when it comes to avoidance, autopilot, cruise, if you have an emergency situation, slam the brakes. As soon as it gets to 100% reverse, it shuts everything down. It will kill cruise, avoidance, and autopilot. So, kind of like hitting the e-brake. We'll get to fuel in a second. This screen, or well, this panel, um, pretty basic. Your ISAN readouts. The heading panel is for avoidance with an avoidance counter. So it'll show you which direction your ship is avoiding to. So if you're going to the right, it's going to have an arrow to the right and showing a counter on how many times it avoided. This is the compass, which is um, half of the YOLO room, but it's about a 0.4 second refresh rate, so should be faster than almost anything on the market if I have the updated ship, which I might not. I'm not sure I have the one with the update in it or not. Let's reset the nav. This is a experimental ship, so changes have been made on it, so they're not exactly what's in release. Yeah, looks like I broke my compass. Oh, oh, there we go. Yay. Yeah, she's gonna update a little bit faster than most compasses you see out there. This bar right here, gyro alignment. So there is a gyro. It's not used in anything else except for manual alignments. So I can say I want to head one direction through a belt, but I don't want to veer off course, or if I do veer off course, I want to be able to get back on course. So before I go, I can calibrate, zero it out, fly around, do whatever, have your fun, do your mining. And then when you're, looking which direction was I going, or what way is EOS, you hit the align button, and it will realign the ship to the direction you were headed in the first place. I mean, if you go off a couple 100,000 in a certain direction, up or down, side to side, it's not going to be, if you were pointing at a certain spot, you're still going to be off that amount, but it's going to get you heading back in the same direction. We will go find an asteroid real quick and see if we can do a little bit of testing. I don't even know if this ship is empty, to be honest. Okay. To mine, it's just like the other ones. Turn mining mode on, line up with an asteroid, do your thing. This one's got some extra features still. The rangefinders that are across the screen right now are for this thing, which can also be turned on when this is open, so you don't have to have mining on. So it shows you the size of an asteroid relatively. If it's a large asteroid, it's going to blink. So if it's a 7, 8, or a 9, you're going to get a blink, which means probably something you want to mine. So as always, we've got multiple things in mining mode that you can use. Approach is one we're going to do now. One thing we really tried to improve on this ship was its stability. The wiggle that was in the Mark II and the Ghidorah, we didn't completely solve it, but we did a lot of work to mitigate it as much as possible because it was kind of annoying to mine with. Ow, it's got the, this doesn't have the scanner that is in the BP, this is the mod scanner. So, da -da -da -da. There we go. What we set to? Yeah. Let's see, I even got my gen set to 100, but it shouldn't go above 75. There we go. We have a sweep function. Pulse was deleted because Pulse is bullshit now. After the gen update, Pulse actually uses more power than necessary for the lasers, so it's kind of a pain. And yeah, it the lasers turned off there because my distance, I was not within 20 meters of the center rangefinder on anything. So after it's like 8 seconds, if nothing's being seen, they'll automatically shut off. And then so we got a sweep, and then the half function, which I think, yeah, we use 6 lasers instead of the 14. So if you don't want to be using the whole set of lasers and conserve some fuel, or you're mining little rocks, you can have the half function on. It's basically our way of doing pulse without pulsing. And then yeah, you can either turn mining mode off or wait for it to turn itself off. There we go. As always, again, if you get out of the chair while mining is on, it will get turned off. There is a laser down there that does turn off mining mode. Let's see, we can go through some other stuff on the ship. Let's get you disconnected. Okay, so when it comes to networking on this ship, if you look in the yellow closet, there are different sections. They are mostly segregated. This whole section here in the middle is completely separate from the rest of the ship. This section up here is the same. This entire bottom section here is all completely separate. I believe this is on the cockpit network and this is on the cockpit network, but this is going to all be changing soon anyways. Basically, if you're going to install anything new on the ship, it might be a pain in the ass. Feel free to ask us. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Like if you want to put any like turrets on the outside of the ring, it's going to be on the cockpit area. So in this area, you can add YOLO chips, or to the pilot seats out there. You can there's 2 spots for chips down in there. You can put chips there, and that will function fine. Um, Anything, say, thruster related, is completely segregated. So this entire all the thrusters are on an independent network from the crates. So you won't see any thruster stuff on anything other than the thruster network. Um, I do believe there are 2 separate thruster networks also, so it's even more of a pain in the ass. Let's see, we'll go up here to the emergency cockpit. I don't know if this one's been fixed. Looking at the cables, I think this is an old one. It is. Emergency cockpit, it's in case you break the front one, you want to go fighting, stuff like that. SOS is literally the hatch, so you can't get locked in the hatch. That's the only button on that side is the SOS button, so you can't lock people in here. Then the basic cruise and avoidance and some gauges. Nothing really important. Well, you really don't need a whole lot here. It's got basic controls. All your levers are down there, so you can move around as normal. I do believe you can fly from that side too. The 4 sets of receivers, it's basically they're all set up to work as a single receiver. It's quad ISAN, but extremely modified. Yeah, but it makes all the compass updates faster, all your autopilot updates faster, everything faster. Um, the fuel button in the cockpit also is here, so you can get to your fuel here. Spare rods, easy as that. Pull them out, put them back in by waiting for the BP to load. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. Click it in place, bolt her in, good to go. I do still suggest bolting rods into place. I've seen plenty of people losing them. So there are, what's it, 12 fuel chambers on top, 12 fuel chambers on bottom, and one on each side. Close that. This is going to be your emergency fueling station. This resource bridge is only connected to these buttons. These two buttons flow in and flow out. So if you're trying to refuel your ship or somebody else's ship from these two tanks that are in here, you need flow out. If you're just refilling these two tanks in here from, say, the EOS towers, and you want to refill these two tanks and flow in, it's got two tanks or two spaces for tanks. You can do large or medium on both sides. These two resource bridges here, the red ones, are always in. So if you are filling up your ship from this area, here to here, fuel up the ship. If I push the correct buttons. So it will send fuel into the ship. Looks like it was only a tiny bit. Okay, opening this. Always unbolt the tanks themselves. So down in here, we've got the spot for the large tank, and over there is the medium tank. When placing tanks, it sucks. Always bolt the frame, and then it's always a good idea to add a couple extras because it'll cause a durability issue. So always auto bolt the support, always un-auto bolt the tank itself. Same thing down there. There's a light down there too, so if I turn, oh, my light is off. See? That is the only light on the ship because lights suck. Oh yeah, hand bolting is fun too. Let's see. As of right now, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, oh, fuck you. It's got more maneuver thrusting, it's got faster speed, better reverse, all around it handles, it is a Ghidorah. It is a Ghidorah. At the bare bones, it is from the ground up built brand new, but it is a Ghidorah. But it handles like a completely different ship. It outperforms the Ghidorah in every single way. So if you're wondering why we praise this ship or think it's worth what we're asking for, people who complain about the input lag, come test fly it. I'll let you borrow one of mine. People who complain about the wiggle, come test fly this thing. I'll let you borrow it. It is that much better that we are that confident that I will let you use my ships. I've got 5 of them. You can use them. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. Our Discord will be in the description. Thank you guys.